Well, The Batman Part 2 has been delayed once again, and it is now releasing in October of 2027. I mean, the soundtrack, Something in the Way, totally makes sense because something always seemed to get in the way of the progress of the sequel to The Batman. It feels really awkward to say this, but we are actually getting GTA 6 before The Batman Part 2. And to be totally honest with you, this delay makes no sense whatsoever, especially after the enormous success of The Penguin, which ended just a few months ago. I mean, all these seem totally pointless and stupid. The only plausible and somewhat logical explanation for the repeated delaying of The Batman Part 2, according to me, is that there are talks going on behind the scenes about whether Matt Reeves' The Batman should be included within James Gunn's DCU. What if they are actually waiting to see how Superman does commercially, and if it actually does end up doing well, maybe they will merge the Reevesverse with the DCU. My reasoning is because the trilogy was announced before The Batman Part 1 even came out, and right after The Batman was released, Matt Reeves said he was already working on the script for the sequel. This was back in 2022. Does it really take almost 5 years to complete a single script? If they don't want Matt Reeves' Batman to be part of the DCU, then there's no logical reason why The Batman Part 2 can't release in the same year as Superman or shortly after. If they're worried about audiences getting confused with two separate Batmen, that doesn't hold up either. In this day and age, where the concept of the multiverse is a big part of pop culture, where we've had multiple versions of Spider-Man existing at the same time, with Tom Holland in the MCU, the Spider-Verse films, and even freaking Tobey Maguire returning in No Way Home, audiences are smart enough to distinguish between different versions of the same character. Plus, if they wanted to plan ahead, they could have cast the DCU Batman and started working on the script for Brave and the Bold alongside the Batman Part 2 by now. Delaying everything just to figure out if Matt Reeves' Batman should join the DCU feels inefficient. It's starting to seem like the delays might be less about logistical issues and more about indecision on how they want to proceed with Batman's role in the larger DCU. I mean, just try and find me an answer to these questions. If Robert Pattinson isn't going to be the DCU Batman, then why delay it? Why wait to see if Superman does well? If the Batman isn't part of the DCU, then why would it matter whether Superman succeeds or not? If the Batman isn't part of the Superman universe, so it shouldn't affect the timing of its release. Let me tell you that I didn't believe the rumors of Pattinson joining the DCU initially, but I think this delay honestly confirms it. Gunn hasn't commented on the rumor, and most importantly, we heard before that the script was fine, so there is absolutely zero sense in delaying it any further. In my opinion, they're redoing the entire script of the sequel in order to smoothly implement and incorporate Robert Pattinson's Batman into James Gunn's universe. If you remember less than 24 hours ago, we heard the news that Batman Brave and the Bold is getting delayed, and now we are getting to know that the Batman Part 2 is being delayed as well. This makes total sense if Brave and the Bold and Batman Part 2 are actually the same freaking movie. This idea is getting more and more real. If you ask for my opinion on this whole situation, on one hand, seeing the character development of a young, grounded Batman growing into a more comic, accurate, fantastical Batman that shares the screen with David Cornswett's Superman would be amazing to see. But on the other hand, the Batman universe is doing so well as its own thing, and throwing it into a fantastical world might do more harm than good. But there is one thing which you all must agree upon. What makes a cinematic universe exciting is seeing franchises with very different tones crossover. That's what made the first Avengers a box office hit. You could argue that Iron Man 1 was pretty grounded before he met Nick Fury and the rest of the team. And to be honest, rewatching the Batman definitely made me think that he could fit in the DCU. Though I think it's best that Reeves continues to have creative control if they do integrate Pattinson in the DCU. I would like to remind you guys that even the Batman from the animated series started out with a rope and hook fighting thugs and ended up in the Justice League later. Robert Pattinson's Batman, I believe, is significantly more advanced than the animated series Batman, which is why I believe that merging him into the DCU would not be such a big of an issue. And I think dark, realistic, grounded Batman is way too overdone at this point. With how Joker 2 turned out to be, I think it might work in the favor of the Batman franchise to avoid a sequel and merge itself to James Gunn's DCU. And I trust James Gunn more than anyone else in the world to deliver justice to the Batman character. I can say that with utmost confidence after watching the Superman teaser, which right now is officially the most viewed DC content in history. First of all, the trailer evokes a different feeling from some of the recent superhero contents, and it's that it's not ashamed to be itself. The lighter tone of the movie, the inclusion of Krypto, the trunks on Superman, and the bright sunny metropolis with the comic-accurate daily planet building, all combined, makes this film feel so reminiscent of the Richard Donner films while incorporating aspects of the comics and the DC animated universe. Most importantly, I genuinely adore that dumbass haircut on Guy Gardner. It's so comic booky and silly, but that is also makes it so cool. Finally, we have a director who loves to embrace the comic book siliness and humor with utmost pride. In other words, this trailer literally felt like the pages of a Silver Age Superman comic book brought to life in front of our very eyes. And this is something I am very confident will pass on to the other future projects within this universe as well. So whether you like it or not, this universe is going to be extremely cheesy and goofy at times, but it can also be serious and emotional in certain aspects, which overall will be very different from what we got from the now dysfunctional DCEU, or the Snyderverse, whatever you like to call it. But if you look past all the humor and silliness of James Gunn movies, for example, The Guardians and The Suicide Squad, you actually get a very heartfelt, vulnerable story that inspire us to rise above our pain and do the right thing. The more I hear James Gunn saying the right things about Superman and the DCU in general, the more I trust his vision and the more excited I get. I have hardly any doubts that he will give the characters the love and care that they deserve more than any other director in the world. This man knows how to take characters from the pages of a comic book and turn them into legendary icons and form a strong, cohesive, interconnected cinematic universe. This gentleman literally turned a walking tree and a talking raccoon into two of the most iconic superhero characters in pop culture, who eventually turned out to be the backbone and foundation of the entire Infinity Saga of the MCU. And I am pretty sure that he is going to do the exact same thing or even better with the DCU, and I am super, super excited for the same. Coming back to this trailer, as I said, we can literally feel James Gunn's love and passion for DC Comics. You can literally feel the same excitement in the announcement video for DC Studios' first phase of movies. So that is all I had to reveal and share in this video. Do let me know your thoughts on Robert Pattinson's Batman joining the DCU in the comments down below. If you enjoyed watching the video, please do not forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.